Ifawuyi here, finds you free. I'm gonna give you a little view today of Bendito Calixto here in Pinheiros area of São Paulo. And yeah, it's a pretty dope little area. We have an antique fair, we have a bunch of indoor shopping, lots of art and different things out here to check out. Let me hurry up because some Brazilians gonna run up on me. Miss, put your phone up. They're gonna steal it. So let me hurry up and get off this phone. But I wanted to just show y'all what we're about to get into. Peace. Hey, y'all. Okay, so here we are at the actual Bendito Calixto antique fair. So at this fair, you know, you have a lot of options. If you ever come to São Paulo and you're looking for somewhere to come in and buy little trinkets, things that aren't easy to find, this is a good place to come. It's also a great place for purchasing gifts to take back home. You know, because not only will you find these antique and older collectible items for sale, but you will find a lot of handcrafted stuff. And, you know, a lot of the good handcrafts are in the inside portions of this marketplace. So here I'm just showing you some of the unusual items that they sell outside that, you know, sometimes for people like us who like a little vintage vibes sometimes, or like are looking for records or CDs or things like that. It's a great place to have an option to come to every Saturday, right? To find those things, looking for a record player, looking for old school cameras, you know, collectibles, things that you're into that you can't find just anywhere. And here I am walking out on the street and getting ready to go meet up with my daughter, Kamania. Here is an example of one of the indoor markets that, you know, actually has a lot of goodies. Hey, darling. Mommy's being a weirdo. Say hi. So yeah, here we go with an exhibition they have for the day. Usually there'll be like some Japanese theme. For those who didn't know, Brazil has the largest population of Japanese people outside of Japan. So they have a huge. Okay. So right now we are at, oh, that is a spot here in Pinheiros in Bendito Calixto, which is the area that I was telling y'all I am in. Sorry, you guys, I had the damn microphone inside my mouth. This is a really dope spot because they do have a lot of records in here. Not only is it an art you know, spot, so lots of art will be displayed, but they also have amazing albums. I'm going to show you some. A lot of it is Brazilian artists, but they also have a lot of American artists too. Yoga, music. So a lot of it today is sort of Brazilian, Afro-Brazilian, Basure, Benito Calixto. That's like real nice vintage samba, bossa. Ooh, yeah, these are the women that redid that song that I love. Tudo será como antes. And then we got fan favorites, Shemaya. We got some, what's his name? Kendrick Lamar. Child, I be knowing the Brazilian people more than the Americans. Thundercat. Got the Thundercat album, which is crazy. So here, okay, so they got some, I don't know, Freddie. One of these Freddies from the 80s, it looks like kind of, he's the king of R&B, they said. Let's see what else in here. hmm I don't know, Freddie Gibbs. There's Drake, a Drake album. So yeah, y'all get the vibe. What's the sister's name again? Child, I don't know it. Okay, Dolce. Yes, Don't You Lemonade, that was a dope song. They got the single here. So yes, lots of vibes. Even got some Fleetwood Mac, some of my favorite or greatest hits. Now, y'all, I want a record player, but child, records are not a cheap hobby, okay? Ooh, got some Fela with Roy Ayers, a favorite. Yes, honey. So yeah, these are the vibes here in Studio Coffee in Bendito Calixto. And I don't know if you would call this Villa Magdalena, but it's definitely Pinheiro. Here's my daughter, Kamania. What's up, Kamania? What are you doing today? We're gonna look for some CDs. Okay, listen. So she's looking. She's got her a CD player, and she's trying to put something in. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you a little bit more of this area. Then we'll go inside. But as you can see, this is again just somewhere to come and buy trinkets and collectibles if you like stuff like China, old school, which is really cool because you're in another country if you're coming to visit. So you can see some of what they were collecting and what is, what their vintage stuff looks like, which, obviously we're in São Paulo, so this is a very international community. So you'll find stuff from all over the world here. You just seen the Buddha there. So yes, and there's some art. You also have some people doing some live painting out here. There's one sister that I'll show you. She will be out here doing some live painting, usually on a Saturday. And it's kind of chill. I like this kind of stuff, perfume bottles. I used to make perfumes. Here she is doing live art. I hate putting the camera on people's faces, y'all, so excuse me. I try to avoid people. It's just awkward. And here's my daughter looking for some CDs. What I love about music, especially in São Paulo. And here in São Paulo, the music is world music. And here we are going inside of the shop called the Qualquer Coisas. So basically, it's whichever things. Okay. So in other words, you can get a little bit of everything up in here. And it's cool. They just have a bunch of stuff. Similar, like I said, if you come to São Paulo and you need somewhere to shop and where everything is kind of in one general area, this is a good place to come. So you have Bendito Calixto, you have Qualquer Coisas across the street, Coisas Assim or Como Assim, which was across the street. You have all of these little spots that you can come to and buy cute stuff. I like to come here and get little pieces, business casual pieces and things like that. Lots of fresh leather goods here. Good stuff. Local made. Pretty much everything is local made. It's all artisans. I love that. Cute sunglasses. I love the sunglass place. It's called Free. And even like handmade jewelry. Lots of goodies. Yeah, so this is a great place to shop. I know most people when they come, they do a little bit of shopping when they're international. Some of my groups that have come out and the families that I have given tours to have really enjoyed. And our day continues buying gifts to take back home to loved ones, right? So yeah, this is one of our favorite restaurants. It's so dope. They make empanadas, they make arepas, all Colombian style. They make patacones. This is a black designer next to La Candelaria. This is in an area called Beco that I take you guys to a lot on my videos. It's just all art and yummy food and, good vibes, live music. So this is the area where they are located, and as you can see, it's like art on every building, people outside chilling all the time. This is a really slow weekend. Usually it's way more crowded. One thing about São Paulo is crowd. Right. So yeah, now I'm going to go upstairs where my son is at and hang out so we can wait for them to bring us our food. São Paulo is just, like I was saying, it's a super busy city. People like really take advantage, especially of the weekends. So everybody is outside on the weekends, everyone. And you're just out doing things. You're looking at art, you're at the outdoor market, just shopping for groceries because there's a lot of outdoor farmers markets and stuff like that too. And yeah, here we are. It's nice. They just got outside seating upstairs here, so this is a super chill weekend. And I'm gonna hang out up here with my kids. After I sat down, the owner sent the young boys that work for them up so that I could do a little video for them for their social media, talk about how much I love food. Yeah, y'all. So we're here. Come say hi, Aliun. This is my boy.
Hi.
Yes, Aliun. What are you up to today?
I'm up to laying in my bed and eating food.
Don't be silly. So he's having a relaxed Saturday. He slept in today while I ran around trying to go get his tablet fixed. And then me and his sister went to the antique fair today. It's kind of a typical Saturday, just getting things done. Unfortunately, I still work a 9 to 5. That isn't a 9 to 5. It's actually worse hours than that. But I'm grateful for it for now. But it does keep me busy during the week. So things like, getting repairs done on laptops and things and tablets and all that excessive running usually has to be done during the week for me. One of the things I like about Brazil, because buying electronics here, y'all, is a very difficult thing. If you want good quality electronics, you pay big money for like Apple products and stuff like that out here. So because of that, hola. Huh? Yasmin? No. So anyway, ese no te alcohol, no? I'm trying to make sure he doesn't give a hold up. No te alcohol? No. They know? Okay. Obrigada. So yeah, just trying to make sure that if you do decide you want to come out here or come stay for a while, bring as much of your equipment as you can. Because other than that, it's really hard to have stuff shipped out here.
Eating food.
What's that drink?
This is a cocoa and limao drink.
So coconut lime. It's basically a coconut lime lemonade. That's a little thick. Yeah, it's really good. So today, as I showed you, we're doing Colombian food this afternoon. Excuse all the noise. And then we're just gonna chill. So I'm grateful. I don't know. Today I had African dance, so I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to go out dancing too. I might, because baby, I'm missing my live music. I'm used to like doing salsa on the weekends, going to see live bands. And for some reason, I don't know, the main live band that we love out here, they have like 3 different names for the band. But the main live band out here has been changing their venues, and the venues haven't been like, it has to be enough space to dance if you're going to salsa, right? And you don't want to be squished up on people. So because they haven't been playing at good venues, I haven't seen them in a while. So I'm missing my live music. Of course, samba and all that. I do that pretty regularly with my girls. But sometimes you just want like some down home, rich, like salsa music, So that's the vibes here on a Saturday. It's actually Saturday. Did I say Sunday earlier? That is the vibes. Can't complain at all. Grateful. Been just kind of going through health stuff this week though. So I've just been kind of on a healing journey with trying to heal my sinuses. I ended up with a nasty, like, I don't know what's been like a chronic sinus thing, starts with allergies, because I think there might be some mold around my apartment. So we've been trying to keep that cleaned up and then keep the air filtered and clean. And then I just had to do so many other things just to like have a modicum of like a good life, because it's just hard when it's mold in the environment, right? So that's one of the things. If you're someone that's sensitive, or if being in places where we're in a tropical country here in Brazil. That doesn't mean it's super, super humid here all the time. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But that humidity gets in these older buildings and sets in. And next thing you know, you got mold in the walls and different things like that. So I don't know if we have it bad, but we definitely get a little bit of it on our ceiling in the bathroom. So I'm debating. I'm considering buying a dehumidifier. But for now, I just keep granules in there of sodium chlorate, in there, and then we clean the mold and we run an air filter. And but yeah, I'm one of those people that's super sensitive, right? So my daughter is a little bit too. My son sometimes, but it's mostly me. So and that's a whole nother story because allergies and that kind of stuff is a whole nother life, challenge to have to deal with because they're more than just physical issues. So yeah, y'all, that's it for a Saturday. So this was a Zumvi exhibition we went to, or that I went to, down on Paulista Avenue, which is kind of like central São Paulo, and it was dope. It's been in town for a few months and I hadn't made it, but it's basically a photography exhibition of like all of the black movements of Brazil over the last, I don't know, 40, 50 years. So including like their Afro-Brazilian movements, such as Afoxé up in Salvador, the candomblé, which is very kind of Afro-inspired religious, spiritual practices. It showed their hip-hop influence scene, their reggae scene. It showed all of, kind of all the influences that have infiltrated and kind of mixed in with Afro-Brazilian culture over the years, over the decades. Here's some Orisha stuff. Really beautiful. The Zumbi exhibition was really nice. And yeah, Brazil is just super rich. I mean, for a lot of people who don't understand, they hear, okay, yeah, Brazil has the biggest black population in the world outside of Nigeria itself. But it's hard to understand what that means, especially when you come somewhere like São Paulo, because the way things are positioned, you see us everywhere, but then black folk don't really live in the city center. They're all out in the outskirts, mostly. So for that, when you come to Sao Paulo, sometimes you'll think, oh, this is like a white city, but this is a very, very darkly melanated state in Brazil, one of the most melanated states in Brazil, but it's just the positioning and understanding how to maneuver here. So a lot of people, when they come to Sao Paulo, they'll be like, not really doing that because it's not that many brown folk. So it's like, we're here in mass. But even here, most of this Zumbi exhibition is showing Salvador, La Bahia, and a lot of the movements and things that have popped off mainly in Salvador. So yeah, if you're looking to move to Brazil and you're trying to figure out where to go, I mean, I highly love Salvador. I have lived there, spent a year in that city. I've also spent a year in Itacaré, more south in Bahia, so I do have a familiarity with Bahia. I've kind of traveled to a lot of parts, especially of the coastal portions of Bahia. So I know that state a bit, and it's really wonderful. It really, truly is. I mean, there's not much I can say about it except for me. The infrastructure wasn't good enough for me in a lot of places, particularly because of like heavy rains every year. And also, as much as it's beautiful and gorgeous and Afro-Brazilian culture is everything, it's like, okay, but it's still not mine. And to be inundated in one thing over time starts to wear on you. And it's not really a multicultural place, right? So while I love all of that, I feel much more comfortable down here in São Paulo where, I get everything. And so here, this portion, they're showing the candomblé na rua, candomblé on the road, out in the streets. The quilombos, when we talk about the quilombos, we're talking about those villages where people who were supposedly enslaved got away from their enslavement and went and made their own villages oftentimes around bodies of water like rivers. And when we lived in Itacaré in southern Brazil, we lived and worked and played capoeira and did different things inside of quilombos that were prominent there in Itacaré. So this is a very interesting part of Brazil to live in, because there were quilombos all up and down, particularly the riverbank there. Obviously, when they were escaping servitude, they went somewhere where they could fish and, grow food and have water that they could clean and drink and all of that. So a lot of those communities are still intact here in Brazil. You know what I mean? They're small and they're little villages, but they're all over the country, and they're intact. And they were symbols of sovereignty during a time when black folk weren't able to be sovereign. Here they say mulher negra. So this is about women warriors here in Brazil. And as maybe some of you have heard, Brazil has a real issue with domestic violence against women, femicide, and all of that. Serious issue here. You wouldn't know, like if you're a foreign person per se that doesn't date and deal with men like that, like the way I am, but as a local woman who's out here dealing with men and stuff, especially if your skin is brown, you could really run up on some issues, right? Because of how prevalent that kind of energy is. So it's something to think about. But especially if you're looking to come out here and you think you want to mix and mingle with the men, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of different groups, a lot of entities that have stood out over time here in Brazil. Not just São Paulo, but in Brazil. Like this is mostly Bahia they're showing in these images. So yeah, there's a lot to see here. They are constantly showcasing aspects of Bahia down here in exhibitions and shows and different artists. And this country has a very, very big respect and love for the Bahian culture, for the culture of the black folks that they created so beautifully, that mainly is nestled there in the Bahia area of Brazil. And it's unlike anything you've ever seen. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, really, because it's so proud, it's so amazing. And here we are now. Took a break from that. We're gonna go see some music, but first some organic wine at this Michelin star place. Actually, the food was really delicious, even though it looks kind of strange. Vegan, all vegan, cooked with good oils, gluten-free. And here is my organic wine. It was banging. And here we are for some jazz. We had a beautiful black jazz band come out. They even had a singer. She was putting me to sleep, so I had to get out of there. But they ended up being a beautiful jazz band. It's just always nice to hear, that little kind of bossa nova, Brazilian jazz rhythm. It puts you in a real relaxed state. And so this was really nice. Here they are. Now you can see it better. Sorry, that last clip was in the wrong direction. Yeah, and unfortunately, I did not get the name of this band, but I'm going to go back and get it. But there's thousands of these out here, bands like this. Again, São Paulo is just such a big city that you just will have so many options for everything. So you really have to kind of know how you want to move here, because you get caught up and lost in decision making just because there's just way too many options. But for me and my family, we know what we're into. So it ends up being great because we can indulge all of those things as we want to, or not do anything and sit in the house and have a peaceful life, because we live in a super secure neighborhood, super secure building with great energy around us. And, being home is just as pleasant as being out. So I'm grateful for, a quality of life, basically. And that's what it's all about, y'all, quality of life. If any of you are actually, looking to shift and change your quality of life, if you're tired of the American rat race or all of the negative stuff we're hearing about, what the government is doing globally and in domestic and all of that in the U.S., then, I do think Brazil is a good option and a good possibility. And here's some street art to top it off.